Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. In this session, we are going to discuss how to get 300 plus marks in geography optional subject. Okay, so yes, all of us are preparing for mains examination now for geography optional subject. Those having geography optional subject, for them this video will be very beneficial. So how to score 300 plus marks in geography optional? Many times students feel that they are not able to cross 250 marks, 240 marks, and they write mains every year, but because of, let's say, less marks in their optional subject, they are not able to get the interview call, or we can say that the final list, name in the final list. So how to score more marks in geographic optional subject and get your rank in that list? So let us understand some nitty-gritties involved in this particular strategy. So yes, when we talk about geography optional subject, yes, like any other geography optional subject, it is having two papers, paper 1 and paper 2, and paper 1 is divided into physical geography and human geography as a section A and section B, or part 1 and part 2 within that, and paper 2 largely relates to, we can say, Indian geography. There is no sections made in second part or a paper, but yes, total 10 chapters in paper 1 and total 10 chapters in paper 2 are there, and detailed syllabus is given by the UPSC. Now many times what happens is students are preparing the same kind of sources that are there in the market, and they are not able to get more marks in the examination. So what is happening here? They are not following the right kind of strategy to get more marks in the examination. So that's why this particular session is for those students who are not able to get 280 plus, or we can say how to get that 300 marks crossed here. So first of all, we should understand for any let's say optional subject, including geography optional subject, we need to understand the trend from the previous year questions in the UPSC examination itself, and it will guide you in the right direction. Okay, so yes, for that purpose, what we have done here is for your analysis purpose, we have given for last 5 years the chapter wise analysis of number of, let's say, marks allocated by UPSC in those papers. Now we all know that in each and every paper, paper 1 and paper 2, there are total 8 questions carrying 50 marks weightage. Out of those 8 questions, we have to choose and attempt 5 questions. Among those 5 questions, 2 questions are compulsory. We have to attempt, all of us attempt how to attempt that compulsory question, and remaining 3 we have to we can choose from the we can say 6 questions. So in general, we should understand how this 250 marks paper is designed. So on the basis of trend, what we can do is we can understand in which areas UPSC is emphasizing in paper 1 and paper 2, and accordingly we can focus on preparation in those chapters only, and or we can give more emphasis for those chapters only. So look at this. First of all, geomorphology. You can see that the weightage given to this chapter is more or less constant, and it let's say goes from 45 to 60 marks. So every year, almost every year, there will be 1 or 2 20 markers, and more than 2 15 markers, and 1 10 markers will be surely there. So that's why we can say that we can bank upon geomorphology. But the syllabus of geomorphology and the number of topics that are covered in geomorphology are vast. Also every year UPSC asks one such question in the compulsory part of paper 1, question 1. Such kind of, let's say, questions are asked which are not generally covered by the students while preparing. Like for example, last year the first question in let's say first question in sub question in first question itself, talking about the Halloween storm. So yes, most of the students did not know about what are Halloween storms, but we should understand here that but remaining questions are static, and one can easily predict they are related to syllabus topic only. So that's why one can surely bank on this. Now how to prepare for this subject, or we can say chapter, is you should focus on syllabus topics and PYQs. So many times the questions are repeated from geomorphology. So they will ask about the theories, they will ask about the slope development, channel morphology related questions, and recently applied geomorphology or applied aspects are being asked in the geomorphology also. So in this manner we should see that geomorphology every year there is more or less constant weightage is given in the paper. So we cannot skip geomorphology, and it is also kind of base for other chapters in our geography subject. Second, climatology, again same thing, 45, 45, 45, 45, as if it is like every year they are giving the same weightage for this chapter, and it becomes very important for our examination. So again we have to give the appropriate amount of weightage. Same is case with, we can say, oceanography. So 40 marks in last 2 years. So we can expect next year also 40 marks. So together these first 3 chapters along with this 5th chapter, environment geography. So these 4 chapters in part 1 are very important, and comparatively less weightage is given to, we can say, biogeography in the paper. Okay, so part 1 is having basically weightage to first 5 questions, or section 1 of our paper 1 having questions from this first 5 chapters. So accordingly you should also prepare. So less weightage should be given, less time should be given in preparation of biogeography, and give more focus on, we will say that this one and this one, because yes, geomorphology is very vast, and yes, we have to comprehensively cover, but more emphasis can be given on these 3 chapters so that we can eliminate the geomorphology questions. Many times students find it very difficult. So that's why I am telling you, climatology and oceanography and environmental geography, it will be very easy, and we can say easily tackled by the students in the examination halls. And also they are having some kind of contemporary relevance. These questions, they are applied in nature, applied climatology, applied oceanography, and that's why we can relate that to contemporary and current affairs. So this is first part of paper 1, where to emphasis. And we can say that we can fetch more marks by giving more efforts in these areas of our paper 1. Coming to part 2 or section 2 of that paper 1 of our examination. So the 2 most important chapters where you can see consistently every year UPSC asks questions is one, models and theories, chapter number 10. So you can see that almost every year 50, 35, 45, 45, 40. 2 to 3 questions minimum every year UPSC asks from models and we can say theories and laws in geography. So, and they are repeated almost every year. So what they ask, the basics of that model and the applied aspect, how these models and theories are applied in the present day scenario. Only these 2 types of questions they are asked, and third type sometimes they can ask about how it can be applied to Indian context as a question, as well as we can say sub part of that question. This is how we should focus on models and theories, very very important in section 2. Then we can say other important section is perspective in human geography. Now majority of the students, I would say that they feel it very difficult to understand perspective in geography. But let me tell you that if you understand perspective in geography, how geography as a discipline evolved over the period of time, since ancient and medieval and modern, so all these theories and thinkers, their views on geography. So basically when you understand this through timeline manner, then you will be able to understand complete geography. Okay, because it is called as essence of geography, you can say, like when we call geomorphology as core of geography, we call this perspective in geography as essence of geography, because when we understand different perspective, we are able to understand the nature of geography as a discipline. That's why we are saying that this chapter is very important. But UPSC has been, let's say, asking questions more or less, we can say the marks weightage is sometimes it is more, sometimes it is less. So you can see in 2017 for perspective it is 40, 2018 it was 65, then 45, 15, 30. So in recent time it reduced, but it may increase also. So it is very important that you prepare perspective in human geography. It will be helpful for your paper 2 also, because when we write answers to Indian geography, we need to give references to all those thinkers and their views and counter views whenever we are writing answers. We are separately going to discuss what is model answer in geography. Okay, so let's understand the remaining topic. So remaining one, the more or less constant weightage that is given, the next chapter is economic geography. You can see that 45 marks, 50 marks, 35 marks. So the next topic that we should be having proficiency is economic geography. Okay, and it will be also helpful for Indian geography. You should prepare all these chapters, economic geography, population and regional planning, together with those chapters in the Indian geography in paper 2, having similar syllabus topics, so that you are able to interlink these topics with each other and in answers also in the examination hall. So that's why then among these three, more important is economic geography. But recently the weightage for regional planning chapter has increased. You can see 65 marks were given last year for regional planning, and even in Indian geography part, the regional planning has been given more weightage last year. So this trend can be continued next year also. So you prepare this chapter in detail, regional planning, and it will be helpful in Indian geography also. Right? So among these 5 topics which are to be given more importance, the models and theories, traditional topic, we can say static, and you can prepare it, you can prepare your notes for this models and theories also. Second, you can talk about is perspectives. You can make short note of each and every thinker and how, let's say, different perspectives evolved through modern times and post-modern in, we can say, geography as a discipline. Then economic geography and regional planning aspect, we can say. Likewise, you give the preference in these chapters. Now, talking about the paper 2, see the weightage that is given. Again, physical geography or physical setting of India, more weightage is given to this part. 60 marks that are given to physical setting. So again, we cannot compromise on this. Every year, we can say that more weightage will be given to physical setting part. So of course, when we learn about Indian geography, physical geography of India is very important. Then resources last year was given more weightage here. And yes, even in, we can say, paper 1, the resources and economic geography as a part of economic geography has received more weightage. And therefore, we can see this trend that UPSC is having, asking similar kind of questions or giving same kind of weightage in paper 1 and paper 2 for certain chapters. That's why we should keep this in mind while preparation. Okay, so first 2 chapters. Then you can see agriculture received very less, or simply we can say no question directly related to syllabus of agriculture last year. But that does not mean UPSC has not asked question. 35 marks, 50 marks, 35 marks. So of course agriculture is one of the most important chapter in the paper 2, and we should prepare that chapter, although we can say that last year the question was not asked. Then next part is industry. Now this is very, very important. The 2 chapters, industry and transport, you can see that more or less constant weightage is given. Every year UPSC will ask questions on this, industry and transport, and you can see 45, 40, 45, 55, such weightage is constant here for these chapters. Also these chapters largely the questions are related to, we can say, current affairs. Okay, so that's why linking all these chapters to the current affairs is very, very important. Then you can see less weightage comparatively to the cultural setting, almost 0 marks, and yes, comparatively less marks in the previous years also. The settlements, yes, more or less constant weightage, 40, 35. So, and then the regional development planning. These 3 chapters should be prepared in the simultaneous manner like paper 1 and paper 2. And you can see that they are having comparatively less weightage. But yes, political aspects, you can see that 45, 55, 35, 45. Only last year it has reduced. So we can say that this chapter is receiving more weightage in paper 2. Accordingly, we can give also more emphasis. But the single most chapter, the 10th chapter, contemporary issues, having complete relevance to contemporary and current affairs. So that is receiving more weightage, 60 marks, 80 marks and 70 marks. This is the recent trend. We can expect that this will continue next year also. Okay, so which are the important chapters here? First, second, then fourth, fifth. and then 9, 10. These are the 6 important chapters that you should give additional weightage in your preparation strategy. Okay, so that's why we say that previous year questions trend analysis is very important. First thing, then you can, let's say, focus on giving more weightage to those chapters and give, let's say, write very good answers in the examination hall. Now the second point that we should keep in our mind is that although we have understood the trend, that does not mean skipping certain chapters on the basis of trend. Okay, skipping is not at all the option. You should cover the syllabus thoroughly, comprehensively, and you should do some kind of answer writing practice for each and every chapter in paper 1 as well as paper 2. So that's why we are saying cover complete syllabus comprehensively. Why? Because UPSC is unpredictable. Even though we are analyzing trend, but UPSC is unpredictable, and that's why we are saying that you should complete your syllabus. Although you should give more weightage to certain chapters on the basis of trend analysis, right? Third, focus more on key chapters. Just now we talked about which are the key chapters in paper 1 and part 1 and part 2 of paper 1 and in paper 2. So focus more on these chapters. Then the most important part we can say that is prepare your own notes of certain topics. Now many a times students find it very difficult to make notes. Okay, they are not understanding how to make notes of what or which topics we should make notes. ये सारी चीज़ें problematic है. Okay, one should be very clear that notes should be made of those topics which are not covered in basic books. In basic books, because basic books we are going to revise multiple times. You need not to make notes of basic books again. Then second aspect, you should know that those which are bulky topics like for example we can say that are having or involving so many facts and information, so for them the notes can be made. For example, you can make notes of models and theories. For example, models and theories. Now model is bulky, one model is extensive model, and there are several modifications made by that thinker, geographer to that model. So of course models and theories, for that we can have handy notes. Even we can have handy notes of perspective. एक पेज पे एक जो है पर्सपेक्टिव ज्योग्राफी में लिखना है. जैसे ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी में वेलफेयर ज्योग्राफी इज देयर, रेडिकल ज्योग्राफी इज देयर, क्वांटिटेटिव रिवोल्यूशन इज देयर, और रीजनल सिंथेसिस इज देयर. All these perspectives should be having, you should have one page note for each. So you should talk about those thinkers, their views, counter views, criticism to that, their books, let's say published in which year. All these things are to be written in the answer. So this is how you should make notes. हर एक सिलेबस टॉपिक का नोट्स नहीं बनाना है, अदरवाइज इट विल टेक ऑलमोस्ट 1 year फॉर ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल ओनली, and you need to give 1 more year for general studies. ऐसा नहीं करना है हमें. We only have next, we can say 3 months for the preparation and get more than 300 marks, and for that purpose we should be smart enough in our studies. Then answer writing practice, single most important aspect in fetching more than 300 marks, because up to this point most of the students may have covered their part. Most of the students may have covered this part, and yes, surely they will get 220, 230 marks, but how to go beyond 280, 300 marks? And for that purpose, this is going to be very, very helpful. Answer writing practice. Now, how to do answer writing practice? But before that, what is the ideal answer in geography? One should have idea about what is ideal answer in geography optional subject, because yes, it is pretty much different as compared to other optional subject. That's why we wanted to cover this. Okay. Now, what is ideal answer in geography optional subject? The most important thing is that the answer should be having relevant content. When we say relevant content, that means what is asked, you should write that part only and not the complete topic that is there in the syllabus. Okay, so relevant aspect or relevance is most important aspect of your mains examination, and you have already word limit. You should be writing the concise and relevant content in your answer, and that depends on how you interpret the command of the question and demand of the question. The command of the question, like let's say whether it is comment, discuss, critically analyze, critically examine. On the basis of these commands in the question, your body part of the answer should change. हर एक आंसर के लिए एक सेम बॉडी पार्ट नहीं होता है. प्रोज लिख दिया, कॉन्स लिख दिया, वे फॉरवर्ड लिख दिया. This is not the appropriate approach to fetch the extra edge, more marks in your examination. Relevant content is one which follows the command of the question and address the demand of the question. We can say that they are the best answers, relevant answers. You will fetch certainly more marks as compared to your competitors. Then the next most important aspect is use of diagrams and maps. See, geography without diagrams and maps is zero. Geography does not exist without diagrams and maps. So of course, in your answers, as a geography optional student, that too, in your answers there should be use of diagrams and map. Almost we can say that for each 10 marker question, one diagram should be there. For 15 markers you can draw minimum 2 diagrams, and for 20 markers you can draw minimum 3 diagrams. But diagrams should be relevant. कोई भी diagram नहीं draw कर सकते आप, right? So diagrams should be relevant, and along with that they should be small enough, because you have the limited space to write the answer. Okay, so specific diagram draw करना आपको आना चाहिए. Okay, the diagram should be well labeled. Also, it should be in the box, and that diagram should have name in the bottom side. This is how very important. The paper 1 is aspect, we can say diagrams most important aspect. In paper 2, use of maps is must, because it relates to Indian geography, especially resources, distribution of rainfall, vegetation, soils, and we can say that industries. Many topics in paper 2 demands drawing map in your answer, and that's why for that purpose you should do practice related to all those syllabus topics, so that you can use that map in your answer. You draw diagram and map, it will be +1 or +2 as compared to other student. I am saying again, it should be relevant, it should be specific, it should be well labeled diagram. Yes. Now next part of your answer that is required is use of keyword. See, when I say relevant, that is you are addressing the demand of the question. With that aspect, you should use keywords in your answer. The keywords related to the topic that is asked in the question. For example, last year the question was related to altiplanation. 10-mark question in compulsory part. Now majority of the student did not know about altiplanation. It is periglacial landform, and this altiplanation is very specific to that region only. Okay, and that should have some kind of keywords in your answer. ऐसे ही लिख दिया, नाम से कुछ पता चल रहा है, that is not geography answer. You will not fetch marks. Rather, you should have some keywords like, for example, congelifraction, then frost shattering, such kind of technical word. ये GS में आप नहीं use कर सकते, right? So rather you use these words in your geography optional subject. These keywords, when they are highlighted, underline in your answer, you get +2, +1 marks in your answer. Then thinkers and models and perspectives. Whenever it is relevant, you should give reference to all these thinkers, models, and we can say perspectives in geography. For example, suppose we are talking about the population. Now there are different theories that are given by, we can say, different thinkers. There is Malthus, there is demographic transition theory, there is Marxian population theory is also there. So of course you should give reference to one of these theories that are there, which whenever you find relevant to question, it's relevant to the topic that is asked in the question. So like for example, if the question is related to regional planning and regional development and planning in paper 2, but still you can give reference to the models from paper 1, thinkers from the paper 1, if the, let's say, question is talking about development of backward regions in India. So if suppose you give reference to establishment of the large basic industries, like for example steel industry is being established, so you can give example of growth pole, growth centers theory. तो ये कहाँ से आया? पेपर 1 से आया. Of course you need to mention that in paper 2 answer also. That enriches your answer. Okay, then next part is interlinking of topics. Do not limit yourself to the rigid boundaries of what topic is asked in the question. Rather, try to explore links of that topics with the other topics in your paper. Like for example, if we are talking about the industry. Okay, so location of suppose iron and steel industry. Of course, distribution of iron ore in India, distribution of we can say that the coal in India, that will be influencing location of industries. Then you can give reference to Weber's location theory also, minimum cost theory. ये सारी चीजें जो है interlinking of topics. The maximum interlinking you do, again I am talking about relevant. कुछ भी कैसे भी जोड़ नहीं देना है, illogical चीजें नहीं है, logical linking. So of course logical linking will again fetch you more marks. Examiner बोलेगा कि ये क्या कर रहा है, ठीक है. So this is how we should let's say interlink all these topics, and this is going to be innovative, creative answer. Then lastly we can say the important aspect, and that will be very different from your competitor. It will be unique case studies, examples, data that you will write in your answers. So it is very important that you should keep a data book with you and use those case studies, examples deliberately in those answers. हम सेपरेटली ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल के लिए एक डेटा बुक बना सकते हैं जिसमें सिलेबस वाइज दैट डेटा, दैट एग्जांपल्स शुड बी मेंशन, एंड यू शुड कीप दिस इन माइंड. इस टॉपिक से क्वेश्चन आया, मैं ये सारा एग्जांपल, ये सारा डेटा लिख के आऊंगा और ये सारा आपका यूनिक होगा. It need not to be shared with other students. Of course, it will make your answers very unique. This is how the geography answer will become the model answer, we can say. Now you keep this in mind while answer writing. Okay, so this is how answer writing is important, and along with that small topics or aspects related to, we can say, diagrams and maps. Just now we talked about, you should have practice of these diagrams and maps. वो blank map का एक बुक लेना है, वहाँ पे मैप्स का प्रैक्टिस करना है कंटिन्यूसली. ओके, देन डायग्राम प्रैक्टिस शुड बी ऑल्सो डन. इट इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यू शुड बी एबल टू ड्रॉ द डायग्राम विद इन 2 minutes maximum for 20 marker. Within 1 minute we can say that for 15 and 10 markers. So you should be having practice. डायरेक्ट एग्जामिनेशन में आपको 5 मिनट लग जाएंगे अगर आप ड्रॉ करना चाहेंगे तो. So that's why we are saying that you should do practice. That will reduce your time and you will give more time to write the content. You will write more 2 points. Of course that will fetch 2 marks. ठीक है, तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है. Then lastly, keep separate data book. This is what I was telling you just now. You should have separate data book, and in that data book syllabus topic wise you should mention the data. अगर आप industries की बात करते हैं तो industry wise you should have the data that at present only 10% of the potential of we can say that food manufacturing industries is being realized in India. So it is untapped potential in India to realize we can say in that particular sector of industry. Then you can talk about the amount of people employed in the number of people employed in the industry sector, service sector, agriculture sector. ये सारे facts आप उस answer में लिख सकते हैं, right? Okay. Now when we talk about answer writing, just now we learned about what is the model answer in geography, but why answer writing practice is important and how a test series can help, a writing test can help. Yes, this is also very important. That's why I was telling you getting more than 280 plus or 300 plus marks, how we can achieve that? Largely the improvement in the answer writing. Okay, this is through answer writing practice. First thing you will understand through answer writing practice is whether you are able to write what is asked despite of having sufficient content. So for example, suppose the question is related to Weber's location of industries theory. Now the question will not ask about, let's say, complete theory, describe the Weber's location theory. Rather the question will be like critically discuss the Weber's let's say isodopants. ओके, और राइट अ शॉर्ट नोट ऑन आइसोडोपेन, तो आपको उतना ही लिखने आना चाहिए. और क्रिटिकल आइसोडोपेन, व्हाट इज क्रिटिकल आइसोडोपेन, उतना ही लिखने आना चाहिए आंसर में. 150 वर्ड्स 10 मार्क्स. सो वेदर यू आर एबल टू राइट इन 150 वर्ड्स, 250 वर्ड्स, सो ये सारा आपको इवैल्यूएट होगा टेस्ट सीरीज आंसर राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस से. सेकंड थिंग इज दैट इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ योर प्रिपरेशन. सो यस, यू थिंक दैट यू आर अवेयर अबाउट व्हाट इज आस्क्ड इन द क्वेश्चन, बट आप जब लिखते हैं तो वो इनसफिशिएंट इंफॉर्मेशन हो जाता है, inadequate explanation हो जाता है. And because of that we can say that evaluating your preparation is the best strategy, and that will be done by writing answers, and we can say writing a test series. Then content enrichment. Now many times what happens, some topics especially in physical geography and that too geomorphology part are missed by the students, and suppose they are covered in the test series through questions and answers, and suppose the faculty is explaining in the discussion itself, you are getting the model answers. So through that what happens is your content enrichment, maybe same question or question from same topic can be asked in your examination. So this is also important, content enrichment. Then whether you are able to complete the paper in time, that will be decided through test series. तो आपको एक दिन में 2 पेपर 3-3 घंटे के लिखने हैं. Whether you are having that kind of resilience in your mind and your body to accommodate to that situation, whether you are able to stretch mentally and physically to that situation, how will you understand? Through test series only. At the same time, when you continuously write these tests and do the answer writing practice, overall, let's say the time limit, you will be able to write all the questions, complete the paper within the time limit. Otherwise it will be very difficult. अगर आप direct examination में जाके बैठते हैं तो surely you may miss 30-40 marks in each paper, and you will not be able to complete the paper. Then another important aspect is comparison with model answers and toppers copies. This is also true. It is competitive examination, and you should be always comparing your answers with the model answer and your competitors, and then only you will improve in your answers. Okay, because it is competitive examination, you have to do some kind of competition with the others also, as well as with yourself. You need to improve from what you have done in the last test. This will be done only through the test series and answer writing practice only. And lastly, we can say it boosts your confidence. If you are writing the right kind of answers, and if you get the feedback that you are writing right kind of answers, these are the areas of strength, these are your areas of the weakness, and the mentor is telling you, so your SWOT analysis, this boosts your confidence in the final examination. Okay, this is the significance of writing answers and test series. Ultimately, we can say in the end, what we are providing at Lukmaan IAS as a geography optional test series. So just now whatever we have discussed, obviously we are providing all these things. In addition to that, certain extra aspects are also there. The nature of questions will be according to UPSC examination pattern and trend in recent years. Like whatever the trend we have provided, that is just a small part for 5 years. We have done the trend analysis of last 10-15 years, and accordingly the way the questions are framed, similar kind of questions we are trying to frame in the test series. At the same time, the weightage to different chapters according to the trend in our question papers will be there. Then dedicated test on important chapters like geomorphology, where the weightage is constant and higher one. Climatology also, perspectives and models in geography, separate test will be conducted on these chapters, so that you have thorough in detail preparation in these chapters, you fetch more marks in the final examination. Then mapping section is included in 2 tests related to Indian geography, and your thorough preparation of mapping will be done. Here the value added material in terms of important places in news, that will be given in the end as value added material. So that will help to fetch more marks in the, let's say first 20 marks is there in paper 2. ये जो mapping का question होता है तो वहाँ पे आप marks ला सकते हैं. Then detailed discussion of each test with the comprehensive model answers and relevant value added material will be provided. So after every test, I will be doing the discussion. I am the faculty, I will be evaluating all these papers on the personal basis, and we will try to give that evaluated copy within 6 days so that you have the feedback beforehand before writing your next test. Okay, and the copy will be evaluated by myself as a faculty at Lukmaan IAS. Then one-to-one interaction with faculty. If suppose even after discussion and reading the model answers, if you have still doubts, you need some kind of personal guidance, then yes, on the demand basis there will be one-to-one interaction with myself. The student can come here, or there can be telephonic or Zoom meeting with the student, and I will provide you comprehensive guidance in that meeting. And throughout the preparation strategy till your mains examination, you write your mains examination, I will be with you guiding each and every aspect of your preparation. Okay, so this is how we are going to proceed at Lukmaan IAS. So if you have any doubt related to geography optional, how to prepare and all this aspect, you can comment in the comment box. Also, let me tell you that we are providing a book list. The PDF of book list will be uploaded in the description. The link will be given. So I have myself prepared that list, and there will be basic book and reference book for each and every chapter we have provided. So this is comprehensive book list, and you can refer to that book list also. Fine? Okay, thank you.